we got us team 1 together with... I gotta do keep bindings. All right, now we're good. Now we're good. Yo, that was so weird because I couldn't see where my my cursor was. That was hard. G-Funk is going to be out over on the team 2 in his full gear versus Knight. Both of them are survival hunters. Knight got them the whole event here. Said G-Funk going in with the full progenitor gear, dropping down the trap onto Knight. Knight trickets out of it, trying to see if he can backpedal out of the trap. He's going to actually be able to backpedal out of it, trying to just go through the full burst of the G-Funk. Trinket out of G-Funk, though Knight might be in trouble. No trinket available for him. Just getting cleaved down with a Reaper's Scythe. And G-Funk is going to back up for a second. Knight with a full flash grip. G-Funk can't interrupt it. Does go for the muzzle last second, but a freezing trap is waiting for him as he goes into a swing. He does get frozen in. Oh, that actually looked pretty cool, the animation. Knight and G-Funk both kind of low. Feint death out of G-Funk, removing all the dots. Knight with a feint as well. Might be able to go for a camo. I think the pet is in combat, though. G-Funk lobbing in grenades one, then the next. Trying to get the Eagles flying in the execute. Knight could be in big trouble. Might jump up a turtle shell or something, and it's going to be G-Funk taking him down as Knight trying to figure out what was going on, but does go down. It looks like Pancakey is going to be up next. G-Funk is going to go into camo, throwing down a trap for Pancake. This is looking for a reset. Team 1. Or Team 2 has Bellator. We got us as Harambe. We got us as Machiavelli, as well as Skillsy. Oh, that looks good. G-Funk going some full reset. Pancake on a mount. Kyrian burst coming out. That's going to be Pancake dropping down for a second. Dropping Infernal down. It does miss G-Funk for a second there. Just a pixel away. Casbolt getting loaded up by Pancake. One Casbolt into the second one. Trialing up, but a feint death for G-Funk to reset as Pancake popped off all the cooldowns. Trying to go for yet another Casbolt. Trinkets out of the stun. Another Casbolt loaded up. No interrupt by G-Funk. Could be in a bad spot. G-Funk does get an AoE stun as it drops on health. Acceleration to catch back up. Most likely a Warlock Hellstone as well. Pancake continuing to barrage it with Casbolts best he can. I think he's trying to see if he can get procs on Rain of Fire as well as Casbolts. And Pancake is going to have to go for a bit of a reset. G-Funk is seeing the Incubus rushing towards him. The freeze comes out. And the Incubus / Succubus did receive a buff in 9-2, where they'll actually, the more they slow the enemy, the more of a buff builds up, where they do more and more damage to the target. G-Funk goes for a feint death, has an interrupt if he needs to. Kyrian burst coming out, but he's going to be able to miss Pancake. Trying to see if he can interrupt him. It looks like the kill shot does go through at the end. With Super Duper in the back, we got us a Cylon as well as Ariki, which is Ariki. Who's going to be up next? Is it going to be Cylon? Is it going to be Super? It looks like maybe Cylon as a Beast Master Hunter charging out. As G-Funk is looking for a bit of a reset himself. Cylon is a BM Hunter trying to go for a bit of a bow with G-Funk. G-Funk rushing out on him. No self for either one. He's going to drop down a trap deck or a grenade next to him. The grenade explodes doing like what, 10-15% of someone's health? Close to 20 actually? I think it's kind of hard hitting. It has like a 4-second charge up time, so as long as you can get like a full stun next to somebody, stun him, drop a grenade, that'll do a lot of damage by itself. Cylon is gonna go for a little bit of CC onto G-Funk for a second. Stun onto G-Funk as he could be in real low health. No, Defenses does get a stun as he dips low and might want to go for recovery versus Cylon. The pets are on him. G-Funk needs a way to get rid of him. It's gonna be Kyrian burst, trying to see if he can get some pressure back to Cylon, but a kill shot away. And G-Funk could be going down to these pets. One more bite out of a Rapture could be really bad for him. Cylon gets really low on health. Just needs one more global. And G-Funk does go down to the pets. I don't know why Cylon got low, but I don't even know how he survived for as long as he did. And Ariki out here just gotta look at G-Funk yelling something at him. It looks like Bellator not even gonna give Cylon a chance. Just swoops in by him, executes him really quickly, taking him out of the game. With Ariki going to be up next, playing out the Ellie build as on the Enhancement Shaman. Got them Ellie Wolves, as well as a Sky Fury. So he's going to be going for the Ellie Blast. Big Ellie Blast into Bellator as he activates Recklessness. And it does make me wonder which of these boys, if any, are running the new tier sets for 9.2. I think a lot of them are running PvP gear because it has the best scaling and most versatility. But it wasn't even with all that Versa. People are still getting bursted pretty hard. Bellator looking for the recovery. That's going to be in Rage Regeneration. While Bladestorming isn't being to crowd control. Going to be another Sky Fury down for Ariki. And Bellator not focusing on that Sky Fury, even though it's going to increase the critical rate, critical effectiveness of the spells of the Shaman. Bellator continued to get rampages and used to build a lot more rage. Huge damage out of Ariki out of nowhere. I think that might have been the Ellie Blast, and the Ghost was joined in as Ariki able to generate Maelstrom. I think he's running the Lego where he gets Ghost Wolves early into a Sunder onto Bellator as he gets himself Zerka's Rage to berserk out of that Sunder, out of that incapacitation effect. Just gonna rage us. and puts himself back into focus, back into the deadly focus of a warrior, instead of feeling incapacitated and disoriented. Ariki might be going low in health. Gonna be a reflect for Bellator. I think Ariki ended up frost shocking himself, and Bellator looking to back up out of there. He needs himself a little bit of healing. As a Fury Warrior, the only way he can really heal is either with Impending Victory, if he is running Impending Victory, which I think he might be, as well as a Bloodthirst, which gives him percentage healing. Better if he gets a charge stun, as long as he's playing the charge build. Bellator does go down though, as Ariki just got himself a huge element blast into a chain harvest. Just so much burst all at once. Did pop off a wall so he can spend all those globals damaging. Harambe is going to be up next as a Demonology Warlock, again wondering if we are going to be seeing any of the tier set. I don't think the Warlock Demonology tier set can work really well in PvP, but it could do okay. Gonna be Ariki though versus Harambe, sending out the pet as the Warlock closes the gap and actually gets up close and personal with Harambe. Gonna be the stun totem down. It is gonna stun some of these pets, but the Tyrant is gonna be there to empower it. Ariki jumping off the side of the edge. That's gonna be a full soul rot trying to get set up by Harambe, but Ariki is gonna burn a trinket to make sure he has control of his character to get himself in a better position. I am seeing if Harambe, if he is spawning any imps that are like wild imps, that are like extra big. I just want to see if he's spawning any weird imps. Any extra beefy looking imps. Gonna be another soul rod onto Ariki with a Handigal done coming out for Harambe. Not seeing any weird imps. Maybe you could see a port out. Harambe does get a port. As soon as he forces Ariki off the side, is gonna burn some of those demon bolts and generate soul shards off of that totem. Is that Doom or is he just throwing down? I think that might be Doom. I think Harambe is playing for the dot build, which is not a bad idea in PvP sometimes. Mordecall onto the Shaman, hitting him with a fear, and Ariki is going to just have to waddle out of there for a moment. As Demon Bolts get exchanged, Chain Harvest does let Ariki recover. We're hitting that 7-minute mark, and so far Harambe's survivability has been decent enough, so the dampening doesn't really feel too bad. The stun totem is going to go off. Big Ellie Blast onto the Warlock. Did not reflect for that or anything. I actually think Reflect would be really helpful versus Ariki, especially when he wants to blast you with a huge, yeah, there you go. Especially when he wants to interrupt you, you can Reflect and interrupt. But also if he wants to go for the Ellie Blast, Harambe looking to jump off the side, I think Ariki knows that he's going to want to go for a port, as Harambe gets blasted from the side by the Elemental Blast, and it's going to be a wall with Drain left, trying to see if he gets some recovery. Sunder to break him apart for a second with a stun out of the pet. Mordecall does let Harambe recover a little bit, but yet another fear into Ariki is going to be dotted up with Doom, as Harambe trying to drain whatever remnants of life he can out of Ariki. Sunder or Skyfear throwing him down for Ariki with the Ghost was available, slowing down Harambe. Big Ellie Blast. I don't think he gets the benefit of that Skyfear totem, but the wolves are on him. That's going to be Ellie damage on Ariki, joining those wolves and Ghost Wolf, trying to see if he can catch up to Harambe. The pet keeps slowing him down, and I believe also the Curse of Exhaustion is just continuing to slow him as well. Harambe puts himself in a situation where he could go for a port again, so he could escape Ariki if anything. Trying to summon Vile Fiend, that only locks him out on fire, so he's able to cast shadow spells and demon spells outside of it. Is just trying to drain life. Harambe is only just a few globals away. Ariki, if he gets himself a good proc, he could be in a huge spot. Ariki choosing to trinket out of that setup though. Choosing to trinket out of that short stun to make sure to interrupt the Tyrant. The Tyrant still gets through. Harambe is seeing all his pets getting stunned up. Now the pets might be able to make something happen. Stun to Ariki could be in a bad spot. The Tyrant is blasting him in his back. Gonna be that wall for the Shaman in order to try to tank up this damage. Just getting barraged by these pets, surrounded by them, burning some of that Maelstrom and mana in order to keep himself afloat. Harambe is gonna set up a port ahead of time and is trying to maintain himself with Drain. If anything, you gotta give this Warlock credit for the mobility he's playing up versus Ariki, landing that interrupt as Adora Shadow's trying to come out for the Shaman. And the Earth Elemental joins the fight for Ariki to be able to get himself a little bit of rotational defenses, a little bit of that longevity. So far, Harambe, all he's been able to do is just try to control Ariki as best as possible and juke him with his ports as he jumps over the side. Ariki is just trying not to chase him as best as he can, trying to make the Ellie Blast be the final finisher burst. Gonna be the Reflect for Harambe, is gonna go for some Drain, looking for that recovery, looking for a little bit of that health. Gonna be a couple of Sunders. And Ariki, again, he knows that the Warlock is gonna jump back up. He knows that the Warlock is gonna use the port, so he's just, you know what? Do I chase after him? He's gonna port anyway. He got himself that weird, like, weird scenario, because it's like a lose-lose situation. You don't chase him, and the Warlock is just going to drain life from you from afar. or you chase after him and he's gonna port anyway. So I'm thinking you gotta play around that cooldown. Harambe jumping down with a Mortal Coil. Fear back into Ariki. Again, the control is good. Did Ariki trick it out of this one, or was that a Tremor Totem? That might have been a pre-Tremor. He did put Tremor on cooldown, but I don't know what broke him out of that fear. Gonna be a stun, missing it. Harambe is hitting Ariki with the fear, trying to keep his pet next to him, actually not even constantly making his pet attack. Big Shade Harvester Harambe gets put in a weird spot, does have a port nearby, trying to get a Vilefin out versus Ariki. Stun onto the Shaman. There's gonna be Tyrant joining the fight. Ariki trinkets out of the pet stun, was available. Harambe might just go for a port, gonna be the reflect, not much you can do about it. Thunder does break him apart though. Harambe borrowed health with the Battle Message Trinket, super low in health, trying to first aid to recover. The Ghost who's joining in to just get a bite to disrupt him from that first aid. Ariki needs one more global to get a big hit, but the Mortal Coil and the fear runs in the other direction, and it looks like Ariki's health is also quite low. Is going to use a little bit of healing at 36% dampening, try to clean Harambe off of all the buffs he has, and Ariki catching up on healing. Slow onto Harambe as he gets hit with a stun. Harambe just continued to kite him. Maybe he's going to try to go for a gateway whenever he gets close enough, trying to see if he can reset him up another port, and is going to again try to go for that kiting playstyle. Try to use whatever he can for mobility against the Shaman. Ariki actually holding up behind the pillar for a moment just to hit up the pets, generate a little bit of Maelstrom. Going to be a quick intro by Harambe as he's continuing to drain life at him. And that's going to be a reflect by Harambe onto Ariki, who is now hexed, giving Harambe a little bit of free drain life. Thunder to break apart Harambe's healing. And that's going to be a stun totem off that. It's going to take out the Sky Fury. Ariki with the Alien Blast, but without that Sky Fury, even if he did land a crit, it no longer has that buff anymore. I think Harambe could maybe come out of this alive, boys. I think Harambe could actually do it. Trouble train life from those ghostos. Actually seeing some recovery. Ariki has to stop it pushing in. But it's going to be more CC by the Warlock, as he got himself soul shape crawling away. Gateway gonna use, so he might be able to at least keep away from the Shaman. He still has a couple more ports available for soul shape. Decides to drop the shape in general. With a wall, drain life as the last bastion of defense. Harambe does have some coolness coming up. He could play reflect here. It's going to be Tyrant getting interrupted. Sunder to disrupt Harambe even more. Does he have a port? Big LA blast by the Shaman. Harambe with a reflect. Does he go for the Tyrant? Harambe, Ariki just needs a couple more globes. Harambe had no help whatsoever. The pets are empowered, trying to kill the totems that the Shaman left for him. And Ariki just needs one more global drain life of those pets. Harambe, I think he's a Battle Master Trinket to give him a little bit of borrowed health. Ariki trinketing out of the Mortal Coil, not getting hit by that fear thanks to the Tremor Totem. And that's another stun. Harambe, again, borrowed health. He could be put in a real bad situation. That borrowed health gives him a little bit of survivability, but it's only, again, he's just borrowing it. Trying to keep himself alive. Big LE Blast cascading on him at the end. As Machiavelli gonna be up next. Assassination Rogue is a Necrolord. I like it. And he got himself the Mage Tower set. As Machiavelli skulking towards Ariki. Should probably have an easier time with this Shaman, since Assassination Rogues are really good at with healing. They're basically an anti-healer spec. Setting out them spikes, stabbing up Ariki, giving him that acupuncture treatment. Ariki does not have any defenses at all, could be in big trouble. The healing is reduced heavily at 50% dampening, and Machiavelli with that evasion, ignoring all the damage from Ariki. That is at least on the physical variety. Ignoring it completely. With a Vendetta, just putting pressure into him. Gives him no opportunity to recover. Super Duper is going to be up next, trying to see if he can get some dots onto Machiavelli. He's going to roar him out in the open, try to get the dots rolling with a war stuff for a second. Convoke the Spirits with full burst. Machiavelli does have a Cloak of Shadows, ends up locking out Super Duper's burst with a Kindle Shot. Might be eyeing that Cloak of Shadows keybind right now. He better have his finger over it. Is going to cloak a little early. Super Duper just needs to get some sort of bleeds onto Machiavelli. Try to see if he can catch up to him. If he roars right here, he might be able to reach him. And Machiavelli does break out away. He is going to have to go for a little bit of healing. Super Duper has eyes available on both ends, so you can pick one or the other and maybe try looking for the Rogue. Getting shot by the Rogue. Super Duper with a quick roar. Try to go for a Cyclone. It's going to clone Machiavelli as the Regros come out for the Druid. Looking to get himself a good old reset versus Machiavelli. Hits him with a root, and that's going to be Smoke Bomb to create the obscurity. That line of sight that Machiavelli needs in order to survive the barrage of the Druid spells. Kindle Shot onto the Druid. And Machiavelli trying to see if he might be able to finish the duel. Here's Super Duper at no health at all. And down he goes. Man, that was a hell of a duel. G-Funk, Machiavelli got 2 kills. Ariki got 2 and lasted for a while versus the Warlock. That was a really clutch, dude. That Warlock sank 1,000,000 damage into Ariki alone. That just shows you so much about Ariki's healing. That's just massive. absolutely massive. Alrighty, boys, let's get another duel up and running. See if the groups are ready to go. Maybe we need to swap up some people. But does everybody think so? Wow, what's more to ship? Imagine execute a guy with 5% HP. Yeah, I mean, it's fine to the 5v5 1v1 duels. You could totally give the other person the opportunity to like an pure honor duel. But if you see somebody low and you feel like you need to snipe them out, hey, that's part of the 5v5 duels arena, baby. You know what I mean? Part of the rules.